In today's video, I wanted to give you a couple of ideas about some of the mounts you should be considering when trialing or deploying our cameras. And we start with the one behind me, which is called the L bracket mount. And its only purpose is to take a dome, which otherwise would sit flat on the wall, and point it downwards. Now, why would you want to do that? Mostly because over time, especially when it rains, dust and dirt will accumulate on top of that dome, meaning that from time to time you'll have to go to site, clean all domes up, etc. If you don't do that, especially at night when the IRs kick in and they reflect back, the image will be greatly degraded. Pointing the dome downwards doesn't mean that you'll never have to clean it, but it means that the rain will fall off the case, keeping it clean for a longer period of time. If you can actually put the camera under a ledge, like I've done there, that's even better, protecting it further from the elements. Now let me prop to the front and I'll show you a couple more options. Another mount that you should be considering is the arm mount. And this is where you have a camera and you want to place it further from the wall. In this example, I have a multisensor that's hanging on an arm mount that's placed on a corner mount, just to give it a better view around the whole front of the property. Remember that when you use arm mounts, there is no way to connect directly cameras to it. You'll need what's called a pendant cap mount to connect the two. The pendant cap mount can also be used if you have a camera and you want to lower it from the ceiling. Let's say you are in a warehouse or the camera is just too far away from the subject that it's supposed to look at. You can get a pipe from any store in your area and then connect the camera via the pendant cap. Now, if you got one of these new bullets, remember that as opposed to the first generation, it does come with a pigtail cable. So you don't have to insert your cable into the camera and seal it. All you need to do is connect it to the cable that's coming out of that camera and seal it tightly. Now that seal itself is quite thick, so it might not fit into the hole you have in the wall. And in that case, if you get one of these specialized junction boxes that are designed specifically for the CB52 and 62 bullets, you'll connect them inside that. And there are many more mounts you can choose from. The best documents to check is the Verkada accessories overview. It's available online. All you need to do is search for it. I'll make sure I'll drop a link into the comments. And if you scroll down, you'll get a detailed description on each mount that we supply. A couple of other important mounts that I did not show you in the previous footage that you might want to consider is the angle mount, especially when it comes to fisheyes, because if you think about this, the fisheye has probably the widest field of view. Putting it on a wall on what's called the 180 mode without one of these mounts would mean that the fisheye will spend most of its time surveying the sky, your neighbor's property, but not actually able to see what's underneath it. So anytime you deploy a fisheye, no matter at what height, if you choose to do so on the wall as opposed to on the ceiling, please make sure to use an angle mount. Other mounts of interest might also be the corner mount that I used when I deployed my multisensor. Please do check that video as well for a more detailed description. The weather shield for those domes that you have to place on the wall and you want to protect them for the rain. And the pole mount that, as the name suggests, will go on top of the poles. You'll see that next to each mount, there is a compatibility description. And scrolling down, you'll also find a compatibility matrix between the mounts and the cameras and how different mounts come together. And going further down, you'll get a page per mount showing you not only a relevant picture to give you an idea of how the mount looks like, but also information about its dimensions, weight and model number.